off at the hostel where they let me have breakfast, which was excellent. I got us some cash, and now I'm here for a tour. Surprise! But that doesn't start for like an hour, so I'm gonna go to the cafe and get some drink. The sun's out, and it's warmer than it was in Krakow, but it's still not warm. Also, I've been here for like an hour and a half, and I already miss the other hostel. If any of my new friends are watching, I miss you already. You saw me like 12 hours ago. So I went on a very interesting walking tour of Old Town in the Jewish Quarter. Right now I'm at the Pinksova Synagogue. This is a Jewish cemetery. It was like 1096 or something when the Jews were first moved out of Prague and into their own separate quarter. Where it's located, the river's on two sides, and so it floods constantly. And so they've been burying people by not digging, but putting dirt on top of them and having layers of it. Because then there was a stone wall that went around the outside and they could protect it from the floods. And so they think there's about 100,000 people buried here. And the synagogue is now just a museum with two main exhibits. One is, it's just the names of all of the Jews who died during World War II from Prague. It's a lot. They filled 3 stories. And then the other room at the concentration camp that's just outside here, Terezin, there were children there, which was unusual for any of the camps. They weren't just gassed immediately. And so there was a bit of a school, and there was a woman who taught drawing, and they have over 4,000 pictures and paintings by these children that they made while they were in the camp. And each painting has 3 dates: the date of birth, the date they were transported, and the date they died. A handful of the paintings say survived instead. So we're gonna have another great start to the vlog. It's the part of the world. It's a very prominent part of the history. Currently in the Old New Synagogue. It is one of the oldest remaining synagogues in Europe, and it's the oldest one in Prague. So that's the synagogue I was just in behind me there. The Old New Synagogue. The old synagogue was replaced by the Spanish synagogue, so then this one was the new one until it was no longer new, and now it's the old new. Got it? So despite the fact that Prague was occupied by Nazis for like 7 years, there are still a bunch of synagogues, because apparently Hitler decided that he wanted there to be a sort of museum for what was soon to be an extinct race. We've got a Kafka monument. Do you recognize the short story? Right now I am in the Spanish synagogue, and it's more elaborate, I guess I would say. It's built in a Moorish style, which is similar to the Grand Synagogue in Budapest, which was shaped more like a Christian church, but a lot of the design elements were Moorish, because, and I learned about this when I was in Malaga, the Moors ruled a lot of Spain for, I think, several centuries. It was a good time for the Jewish people in comparison to a lot of other times, because the Moors granted them a lot of rights that the Christians would deny them. So apparently there are synagogues all over Europe that are built in a Moorish style because of the good times in Spain. Learning so much, and it's also connected, and travel is so fun, guys. Do it! Also, I hope that you're enjoying my hat hair, because... Good morning, I'm back here in the Old Town Square. According to the tour guide yesterday, Prague is, I forget if it's like the safest city in Europe, or the 4th safest city in Europe, or I like these guys, they're fun. Anyway, so it's one of the safest cities for like violent crimes, but it's also the pickpocket capital of Europe, along with Barcelona. So, very stylish today. I'm getting sick, guys. I tried so hard. Anyway, there's an astronomical clock that I'm gonna watch in like 10 minutes here. Looking at this clock makes me think that this is the clock that Colin told me about, and not the one that's in Vienna. Mostly now I'm just super confused. This is the clock, and it's called an astronomical clock, and I remember Colin saying something like that, maybe. Colin? Which clock were you talking about? Have I seen it yet? Also, apparently this is the second most disappointing tourist attraction in Europe, so don't expect a big show. It's the Museum of Historical Chamber Pots and Toilets. I found another market, and I bought some raspberries and blueberries. But oh my god, does the juice from the blueberries burn all the way down? Sore throat, why? So last night there was a pay what you want dinner at my hostel, and I find dinners much more than breakfast are an excellent way to meet people when you're staying at a hostel, especially when you're traveling solo. So I went to that. I made some new friends. We had a pretty chill night, though. We were just gonna hang out at the hostel, because the common area is just right off the dorms. Once it was late enough that, well, probably most people were sleeping. One of the guys who works at the hostel wasn't on shift, but he'd made the supper, and he'd check me in the morning, and so I recognized him anyway. And he was like, since everyone's sleeping, we'll go to the upper floor where people can't hear us. And I was like, there are a few floors to this hostel. I was staying on that one, so I hadn't been to the others. And I was like, oh, maybe there's just another common room up there. So we all trudged up the stairs to like, the guy just lives in the attic. It was hilarious. It was really like super cool, but also super sketchy. Yeah, so we hung out and we played guitar and sung some Disney songs, which is exactly what I expected from that scenario. This This is St. Wenceslas Square. Turns out I can't hear that name without then getting Good King Wenceslas looked out. Also, apparently at the end of the communist regime, they had a big revolution. They called it the Velvet Revolution or something. And I actually forget what triggered it exactly. But so if there were 1.1 million people in Prague, 800,000 of them took to the streets. People were pissed. And there were 300,000 in this square. But he showed us pictures. It looked pretty cool. Gonna climb a tower with some very steep and narrow stairs. I found a view. There are a bunch of like Corella de Ville cars that I think you can take tours in. Found another cool cathedral. There might not be much vlog this trip, guys. It hurts to talk so bad. So the walking tour was great, and it left us with this really cool view. And I have to go back to my house, so I've got a fever, and my throat hurts so bad. I gotta go see what medicine I brought with me. So the rest of, wow, I hope you can hear me. So the rest of Prague disappeared into a giant hole of darkness and fever. Ended up staying an extra day just because I couldn't face the 4.5-hour train journey. But I didn't go outside, I just stayed in the hostel, tried to sleep. Feel slightly better today, getting on the train anyway. Who knows what we'll see in Berlin. I hope you enjoyed my first day and a half of Prague. I did, I think. It's all a bit fuzzy. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to find out about Berlin, because I guess I already spoiled that. I may feel like I'm dying. That doesn't mean I can't appreciate how cool Prague is. Like, what?